So if you're ready, we'll go ahead. Yeah, let's actually start in a child's pose. So we'll start off kind of in an active posture then. So once you're on your mat, and this is the distance I'll be from the camera, so if you need to adjust it or anything. Again, since I'm outside, who knows? We may hear dogs, we may hear trucks. I mean, who knows what will come up. So that's the nice thing of being outside. So just come into your child's pose and take your knees all the way to the edges of the mat. And then close your eyes as you sink your chest all the way down to the mat. And stretch your arms long to the top of the mat. So in this child's pose, just start to feel the mat support your body in this next 30 minutes or so. Let the body just melt into the mat. So yeah, a lot of times I like starting off the practice like this, the series of postures, because you're just grounding into the floor and just letting the body get heavy in these first few moments. So yeah, just let the body sink a little deeper into the mat again. If you'd like, taking those knees all the way to the edges of the mat. And then that allows you to sink your chest, sink the forehead a little closer to the mat. And then from here, just take a few stretches. So take the right hand all the way off of the mat if you'd like. Even take your left hand and place it on top. And just press your hips back down to the floor if they lifted. Press the left shoulder back down. And then just take it over to the other side. So we're just doing our shoulder stretches from this child's posture, letting the right shoulder melt back down to the mat as you take the right hand on top of the left. And then walking your hands back to center. And we'll go ahead and come on up to your tabletop position. So just pausing in your tabletop for just a couple of breaths before we get moving. So press the fingertips into the floor. Press the tops of the feet into the mat, the knees, and then draw your shoulder blades together on your back. So actually rotate the arms back a little bit. And then now with your breath, start to move into a cat-cow posture. Inhaling, dropping the stomach down, looking up, tailbone lifts, and then exhale, curling it all in. So we'll hang out here for several breaths, just starting to open up the spine. So no matter what you've been doing all day long, just starting to let the blood flow as you arch the spine in both directions. So it does not matter how fast or slow you're moving with this posture. Just move with your breath. So if you need to take it really slow, just hang out in those postures as you breathing in, and then as you breathe out, just come into the opposite. And then you can continue that cat-cow if that feels good, or just start to sway the body side to side. Do C-curve, as we call it. You can even press the hips all the way back towards your heels. Do hip circles coming forward and coming back. So through this, if you'd like, you can keep your eyes closed for a few moments as we continue this opening of the spine, opening up the body, or you can have the eyes open. And then another thing, we haven't done this in a while, is stretching out your wrists. So turning the fingers back to face your knees. I believe you can see that. I know it's so hard to adjust the camera to see everything, but have the fingers back so they're pressing towards the knees, and then just rolling up onto those fingertips, kind of in that cat posture and rocking back and forth. And you can press the palms into the mat, or even have the backs of the hands into the mat when you do this, or even have the fingers facing towards each other. You can rock a little side to side, coming up onto those fingertips. So just giving the wrist a little stretch. This feels good. I love doing this at any time throughout the day. You need to do that. All right, returning back to that tabletop position, and we're going to come right into a downward facing dog. And then we'll hold our down dog for a couple of breaths. So bend the knee if you need to. Walk it out. Raise a leg up towards the ceiling if you want. Straightening the other leg. You can even come out to a high plank pose. Just take whatever you need for about 3 or 4 more rounds of your breath. And then when you're ready, settling into your down dog, relax your head. Your eyes can still be open or closed. If your eyes are open, actually looking up towards your navel, look up towards the hips. And come high onto your toes. Look at your hands and then walk all the way to the top of the mat. Forward fold to a rag doll. So separate your feet hip distance now. Grab opposite elbows. You can sway the body side to side. And then pull the navel in tight. So stomach pulled in to lift the hips up. Pressing into the heels of your feet. Pressing into the ball mound to be light on your toes. Extended mountain pose. So press into the feet. Slowly rising all the way up. Stretch when you get to the top. And then bring your hands to your heart center. Close your eyes this time. Stand tall. Roll the shoulders up towards your ears, down your back. Pull the navel in. Tuck your chin just a little. Soft bend in your knees as you press into the feet strong. Next breath in, open your eyes and reach your arms all the way up. Stretch and forward fold all the way down to the mat. Lengthen halfway. So press hands on your legs and squeeze those shoulder blades together. And exhale, forward fold. High plank pose. Plant your hands and then step your feet all the way to the back. And then in this high plank, we're just going to come right into our first downward facing dog. Well, actually, this is our second one. So you can pedal out your feet, bend a knee or the other. And then we're going to do that exact same thing. Look at your hands. Walk all the way to the top of your mat. Halfway lift and lengthen. And then forward fold. This time coming right into our mountain pose, rising all the way up. As soon as you rise, you're going to come all the way back down into your forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen. Feel that stretch in the shoulder blades. And high plank pose. Step it back. This time low plank. So either hover, bringing elbows beside your knees, or come to your knees. Upward facing dog. Stretch. Look up at the ceiling. And then downward facing dog. Take 2 to 3 breaths. And we're just going to do that motion one more time through before we start moving into some standing postures. Pedal it out. Just feel that stretch. Look at your hands as you come high onto the toes. Walk the hands or feet all the way to the hands. You're at the top of the mat, halfway lift. Forward fold. Use your breath to rise all the way up. This is our last time to really stretch, go up, and then forward fold all the way back down. Hands to your shins for that halfway lift. Squeeze shoulder blades together. High plank pose. Step it back. Lower halfway or to your knees. Upward dog or cobra. I forgot the name. Downward facing dog. Take your right leg straight up towards the ceiling and warrior one. Step the right foot all the way to the top. Your back foot goes flat. So pausing here, setting this up, making any adjustments, no rush. Bend into that front knee as you press into that back heel. Reaching the arms up. And then skier, bring your arms straight back. So keep a bend in that knee. You're just leaning forward. So you're still grounding into that back heel. Pressing into the ball mound of the front foot. Revolve side angle. You're going to take your left hand, drop it straight to the floor. You can pivot on the ball mound of that right foot as you lift the right arm up, or you can keep that back foot flat. Now here's some core work. Warrior two. So you're going to still press into that right foot, the front foot. You're going to lift up. So that was your core that actually lifted your body, and then sink into your warrior two. Extended side angle, right hand to the floor, or right elbow, right knee, left arm up, or take it over your head. High plank pose. Plant both hands to the mat. Right foot steps back, lower halfway down. Up dog. Breathe in. Downward dog. Breathe out. We're taking this to the left side. Raise your left leg towards the ceiling. Warrior one. Step it to the top. So same motions here. Just noticing one side different. Taking your time to square the hips off, reaching the arms up. Skier, keep the knee bent. Just bring the arms straight back. So as you're doing this skier posture, feel those shoulder blades squeeze together. It's a little core keeping you upright. Now revolve side angle. You're still using the core, but giving it a little break as you use the oblique muscles to twist, look up. Now activate that core for warrior two. The back foot goes flat. As you rise up, sink a little deeper back into that front knee. Extended side angle, left elbow to left knee, or take the left hand down, right arm up and over. High plank pose. Lower halfway down. This is our chaturanga. Upward dog, breathe in. Downward dog is your breath out. Inhale, right leg high to the ceiling and crescent lunge. Step your right foot to the top again. This time, instead of the back foot flat, you're high on the ball mound of that back foot. Reaching the arms up. Now we're going to come into a series of a few balancing postures. So taking your time, we're coming into one leg mountain pose or stork pose, if you want to call it by an animal. This is why it looks like stork. Bringing that left knee into the chest. Your arms are still lifted, even though I'm out of the camera range for that. Now come into warrior 3 or airplane, still balancing on that right foot. Stretch that left foot all the way to the back. Any hand variation and release. Left foot meets right. Shake it out. All right, same thing on the other side. Since we're all the way up at the top, we're going to do this a little reverse. So ground down into that left foot and then bring your right knee into the chest. Reaching the right arm or both hands up. You're going to take a big step back for that crescent lunge. So high on the ball mound of that back foot. Arms are up. Find the hips squaring off with each other. Now coming right back into that stork pose or one leg mountain. Reaching arms up. And then warrior 3, kicking that right foot just like it looks like the letter T if you see this shape. Again, the hands do not matter where they are. Just try to have both hips squared off. And then release, right foot meets left. All right, shake it out. We're going to come into just one more standing posture on each side, tree pose. We're going to start with the left foot as your grounding foot. Press the left foot into the mat. You can bring that right knee into your chest again and then take that right foot above or below the knee as you extend that right knee out. So take your time. If you need to drop the foot all the way down to the ankle, you can for stability. And we'll be here for about 5 more breaths. So as you're breathing, expand your chest. So I have my arms just by my side, palms facing out. You can also interlace your fingers together, squeeze those shoulder blades together to stand tall. If you'd like, Shelby does this all the time. You could reach the arms up, reach overhead. You can even look up and release out of this. Shake it out, and we're going to move to the other side. So tree pose, grounding down into that right foot, and then just taking this left foot wherever feels comfortable. Just make sure it's not on the knee. It's either above the knee, below the knee, or even at the ankle. So whatever feels comfortable. Taking your time, you got about 5 more breaths. Expanding the chest, expand the lungs as you're breathing. One of the things that always happens to me whenever I'm practicing yoga, outside or inside, is the breath gets so strong. I actually start smelling things that I haven't smelled in a while. Like I could smell our citronella candles when I taught a class earlier. Almost smelled like there was suntan lotion out here as well. All right, release that left foot down beside your right. Shake it out. All right, inhale, rising all the way back up. We're doing a big stretch. And then exhale, come all the way down. Halfway lift for that flat back. And then high plank pose, step the feet back. This is our last high plank. Hold here for 3, for 2. And then come all the way down to your mat. So we're going to come into 2 back bends on our mat. Locust pose is what we call the first one. So have your toes touch and the heels touch if they can. If not, the feet can be hip distance apart. And then you're just going to relax your hands down by your side or bring the arms out if you've got space. Take a deep breath in. And then breathe out. On your next inhale, you're going to press into your waist and lift the legs up, lift the chest off the mat. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Take another breath. Try to lift a little higher and then come all the way down. Bend your knees and just rock them side to side. Shake it out. All right, this time we're going to do floor bow. So if you can bend the knees, place your hands on top of the feet, and then walk those knees in a little closer together, like hip distance. Same thing, you're going to press into your hips and then lift everything else off the mat. Breathe here for 3. Keep that breath going for 2. Yeah, feel that back bend for 1. Shake it out. All right, coming up to your knees. Now, on your knees, if this feels comfortable, we're going to do camel. We'll just do one of these. So camel pose, if you can see, this is exactly how it is. So your knees are hip distance apart, and then either the tops of your feet are pressing into the mat or curl the toes, whatever feels good. The key here is the long line is coming straight up from your knees as your support base all the way up to your head. Now take your hands, place them, fingers pointing down right at your low back. Once you have that, squeeze those shoulder blades together. So actually start to bring the elbows in as close as possible. When you did that, you kind of felt that you're starting to press a little forward. So what we're going to do is keep the hips right where they are, and you're just going to arch your upper back. So the sensation that you actually feel, it actually is going to feel like you're pressing those hips forward because you're going back. You're staying in a straight line, but just make sure you don't shift the hips back. The hips are still going straight up and forward. You're looking up at the ceiling or the sky. And release. Sit back down on your heels. And I lied on that. I said we're all going to do one. We're going to do a second one. Camel is one of those postures. Yeah. The second time around, you may feel it a little more. Hopefully it doesn't hurt. But if it does hurt, you can just back out of it. So when you're ready, come back up to your knees. Again, fingers are facing down. Press them right at your low back. Press the palm there. Before you do anything, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Press the hips forward. As you press the hips forward, again, it's a straight line. You're just going back. Still squeezing elbows together. Press the hips forward. Go back. Do that one more with your breath. Breathe in. Go back on your inhale. Rise all the way up. Sit back onto your heels. All right. If this feels comfortable, just stay seated. Now this is where sometimes we start the class. So actually just stay seated here, or if this is uncomfortable, you can sit on your hips, cross-leg the legs, and close your eyes. So feel the heartbeat in just these few moments, this few postures we did. The heart rate got up. Feel that the breath maybe got smoother. And then where did your mind go? Just focusing on that breath, focusing on the present, right where you are. We're going to take 3 more breaths before we roll back down. Take a breath in. Take a breath out, smoothing out the inhales. Coming into that exhale, smooth it out. 1 more. Back into the next inhale. Back into that last exhale. Open your eyes, and then we're going to do a seated forward fold before we roll all the way down onto our back. So swing both legs all the way around in front of you. This is one that people either love or hate this posture. So sitting up tall, set it up. Make sure the hips are pressing down. I know that I always have to bend my knees a little, so I've already bent them a little. Reaching up, pull the navel in tight, relax those shoulders, and then hinge at your waist. Start to lean forward. If you can reach around the hands, peace sign fingers around big toes. You can even just relax the hands in. As you see, you can even bend your knees a lot if you need to. So create that long spine, pressing the tailbone back, reaching crown of the head forward, and try to relax your shoulders, relax your head. Then rising all the way back up, we're going to roll all the way onto your back. Hugging your knees into your chest. We're going to do one little inversion as we start to wind down. Just straighten your legs straight up towards the ceiling. Flex your feet or point the toes, whatever feels good, and you can even try one or the other. Then try to relax your arms by your side. Tuck your chin a little. So once again, you've created that long spine on your mat. Tailbone pressing down. You can even shift the hips side to side if that feels good. You really want to work core, you can even lower one leg, raising the other one back up. Just take about 5 more breaths of whatever you need right here. And then we'll meet with our knees into our chest. So that'll be the next posture. So if you need to go ahead and go there, you can. Otherwise, still try to keep those feet lifted up, letting gravity, let the blood flow in the opposite direction. Take another breath in. And then now bringing your knees into your chest, wrapping arms around your knees, rock a little side to side. And we're going to come into a supine twist. Take both of your knees over to the left. Try to get the knees all the way down to the floor if you can. As you do that, start to turn your head to the right. And close the eyes. Try to let that right shoulder fall a little closer to the floor as that knee or the knees are falling to the left. And now just switching sides, hugging knees back into the center. Hug them in, rock a little side to side. And then taking the knees to the right. Deep spinal twist as the knees fall. Then let the left shoulder go in the opposite direction. And then turn your head left to left ear. And returning back to center. Hug your knees all the way in. Bring your forehead up to meet your knees. Give yourself a tight little squeeze. And then setting up for your final rest. Shavasana. Let the legs go all the way down. Let the arms open up. Backs of the hands are pressing in to the floor as you squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then just let the shoulders fall to the floor. Closing your eyes, relax your tongue. And then now just relax your breath. Just breathe naturally. Let the mind just soften. Scanning your body, scanning your breath. Just focusing your mind on nothing but right where you are on the mat right now. We'll be here for about 30 more seconds in stillness. As you're laying in stillness, start to scan the body again from head to toe. Scan over the hips, scan over the fingers, and then start to wiggle those fingers. Roll out the wrist, roll out the ankles, wiggle the toes. Roll out the legs, and then reaching the arms overhead. Give yourself a big full stretch, and then hug your knees into your chest. Once again, rock side to side. Bringing your forehead up to meet your knees, and then rock all the way up to a seat. This time, if you want, cross the ankles. Sitting up tall, roll the shoulders up and down. Close your eyes as you bring your hands to your heart center. Bring in your thumbs between your eyebrows, forehead center. We bow to each other and say, Namaste.